Hello everyone and welcome to the 11th and final featured installment of the Khmer series. Throughout this series, I tried to get the best shots humanly possible in the short time spent in Indochina and then package them into the stories promised years ago when the fundraiser was held. The extent to which this was successful will be judged in the years that come. And I say this because it has happened before that a series I wasn't particularly happy with how it turned out ended up being far more appreciated than those that fit my tastes impeccably. Which is why this project also included episodes of the Propaganda Basement as well, to make it possible to tell basically all of the stories in two different formats, and at the end of it, for you to have a broad enough image of these places. It's quite unfortunate I couldn't get to Thailand a little bit. So close, but still too far. At the time, it was $60 just to get into Thailand, and I would have only had 2 days max, so not enough to reach the interesting areas of the country. The fee was waived for my passport 6 months after I taped these images. Oh well, maybe next time. Also quite unfortunate that I don't have more footage like this one. Indochina is very cat-friendly, contrary to the stereotypes, which are really based on some apocryphal stories from 2 villages in Vietnam. But oftentimes I'd encounter a cat when I didn't have the camera with me, or the kitten would get scared by the camera. So I thought I'd compensate by going to a specific place that cares for hundreds of cats in Siem Reap, but when I did have the time, the place was not open for visitation. To make things worse, in the next series, I'll have even less footage like this because Colombia and Ecuador are not cat-friendly. But that's a concern from when I get to edit that one. Another regret from this series is the bad luck on the one interview I had wanted to make. One of the chiefs of the Mines Advisory Group is a walking encyclopedia of knowledge about landmines and unexploded ordinances in this part of the world. Unfortunately, life happened and he was off town for most of the month, including the entire period I was in Vintin. Hopefully one day we'll meet in Europe. But it sure would have been a great addition to the series to have the insight of a real-world expert on this issue, especially since, as I said, we'll need some of that expertise in Ukraine at some point. In the meantime, other things went right. I got away with this footage without taking the effort to go through the crowds of tourists. Many thanks to Mr. Kim, and I hope to return the favor soon. As expected, footage from Angkor Wat was only necessary for a tiny portion of a single episode of this series. But everyone safeguards their footage from here because it's also one of the so-called new wonders of the world, and a big cash cow for the Cambodian government. It's a huge hassle to get in and out, and it can eat up to 3 days to go through the whole thing. Thanks to the flexibility awarded by our members, I could work around that, and it turned out to be a good decision, all things considered. Also, despite the chaotic traffic, I did end up getting enough of this kind of urban footage so many of y'all like. The reason I take so much of this is because there's always a chance to accidentally capture something important. Also, this kind of footage is easy to reuse later on, and over time it turns into a time capsule in itself about life in a particular place. There's a reason the most popular footage from 100 years ago is bustling urban streets in the middle of the day. Call me pompous if you want, but this is a consideration when I'm taking footage. Just like when editing, a special consideration is given to avoiding frames where children appear. In the end, all things considered, things went better than they could have. And the tendency to make the videos quite a bit after the visit has paid off this time. By allowing time to pass so I absorb more knowledge and be less influenced by minute things has hopefully made for more precise stories. Of course, you'll be the judge for this in the end. But do keep in mind that the purpose of these series isn't to show what everyone else is showing, nor to tell the basic stories anyone can find in 3 minutes on the internet. Although, yes, maybe I could show more about and from that hassle. For instance, I regret I did not film more from the utterly random traffic between Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, and the boss level driving through that chaos by the Vietnamese driver. By the same token, I also don't want to be that guy shoving cameras everywhere. I hate it when someone else does it, so I don't do it myself. It's a tough balance to strike, and of course, I don't always get it right. But ultimately, every new series is at least a small improvement over the previous one. The next series is going to be from Latin America and will be even better calibrated because I timed the stay better. And after that, it will be a second series from Central Asia, which at the moment of this recording, I have no way of knowing how it will turn out. Point being is that we're not running out of stories. We're just taking the less traveled paths. And that is only possible thanks to your generosity, for which I routinely feel I'm not expressing enough gratitude. So with all of that being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you really like this kind of content, do consider becoming a member. Towards the end of 2025, I'm ramping up the production of members' exclusive videos as well. But more on that will be announced when appropriate. And on that note, I'll see you all soon on the Freedom Alternative.